It didn't start with a public statement. No press conference. No dramatic gesture. Just a quiet, personal letter from Prince Harry to his father, King Charles III, a formal request to attend the King's Foundation event. Simple on the surface, but charged with meaning. For Harry, it wasn't just another date on the calendar. This event was significant, a royal power moment where world leaders, philanthropists, and celebrities gather under the monarchy's polished banner of influence and charity. It could have been the perfect stage for a subtle comeback, a symbolic return, a chance to be seen, not as the rebel prince, but as family again. But what did Harry receive in response? Silence. Then rejection. Not a polite delay, not a vague scheduling excuse. According to palace insiders, the refusal was swift and deliberate. No invite, no video call, not even a back row courtesy seat. Nothing. The message couldn't have been clearer. The monarchy isn't waiting for Harry to catch up. It's already moving on without him. And here's what makes it sting even more. This wasn't some quiet tea party or annual holiday gathering. This was the King's Foundation event, a showcase of the crown's legacy, influence, and future. Senior royals showed up in full force. Prince William, Princess, and Queen Camilla. Even non-working royals like Zara Tindall were included. Cultural icons like David Beckham and Kate Winslet made the list. But Harry? Nowhere to be seen. People noticed. Inside palace circles, the whispers turned sharp. One senior aide allegedly said, "The king sees no reason to reward betrayal with visibility." And that line stuck. Because whether fair or not, that's the label Harry now wears behind palace walls. Not the misunderstood son or the peacemaker, but the outsider who crossed too many lines. The one who chose distance over duty. And now, the family is returning the favor.
Don't pull that rubbish at the holidays because people aren't buying it. It's just, it's so...
The interviews, the Netflix deals, the memoir, the steady stream of public digs at the royal family. One by one, the trust eroded. And now, with this denial, came the final nail. What really stung was how public it all became. The guest list for the King's Foundation event was posted online. And when Harry's name wasn't on it, it wasn't just an omission. It was a message. A loud, silent message. You no longer belong here. For someone born into royalty, someone who once walked those palace halls as a future leader, the exclusion hit hard. Sources say Harry had quietly hoped this appearance would be his re-entry point, a way to prove he still believed in service, in duty, in family. A return not in name, but in presence. A subtle bridge back. But the palace wasn't interested. King Charles, insiders say, didn't hesitate. No discussion. No back and forth. Just a firm, cold no. And for some in the royal circle, the rejection was a relief. After years of walking on eggshells around Harry's unpredictable orbit, someone had finally drawn a clear line. But here's where the story takes another turn. While Harry was trying to reconnect, Meghan Markle was reportedly silent, completely detached. Those close to the couple say she didn't support the request, didn't endorse it, didn't even seem to care. Her focus was elsewhere, on business ventures in California, new projects, and brand deals. Her absence wasn't just noticeable, it was strategic. Observers noted she appeared several steps ahead, distancing herself from a situation she likely saw as a lost cause. What once looked like a royal rift now feels like something deeper, not just a family feud, but a quiet, full-blown exile. And it's not temporary, not negotiable. Harry may have been trying to turn a page, but the crown seems ready to close the book altogether. Inside Buckingham Palace, the reaction was exactly what King Charles had hoped for: calm, quiet satisfaction. No resistance, no backlash. In fact, aides reportedly welcomed the decision. For years, they had struggled to balance loyalty to the institution with sympathy for the king's son. But that sympathy? It's gone. The consensus was simple: you can't preach honor and duty while profiting from family drama. Loyalty has limits. And Harry crossed them. Even former defenders in the media are shifting their tone. Commentators who once praised Harry for speaking his truth are now noticing the pattern. The endless interviews, the emotional revelations, the book, the docuseries. It hasn't stopped. Every few months, there's another headline, another story, another jab. And people are getting tired. Social media lit up once news of the rejection broke. Hashtags like #NoMoreHarry and #RoyalReckoning began trending. Tweets poured in, some harsh, others disappointed, but most echoed the same sentiment. He made his choice. Now he's living with it. One viral post captured the mood perfectly. You can't write a tell-all trashing your family and then act surprised when you're not invited to dinner. Public sympathy is wearing thin. Even loyal fans are admitting the drama is exhausting. At a time when the monarchy is working overtime to project unity, duty, and stability, Harry's presence feels less like a complication and more like a threat. And then there's the issue of security. Sources say part of Harry's request included discussions about safety arrangements, protection for him and his family if he attended the event. But that conversation reportedly went nowhere. Palace officials shut it down quickly, arguing that without official royal duties, Harry wasn't entitled to royal security. For Harry, that refusal cut deep. He's spoken often about how losing protection made him feel vulnerable, how it represented the institution cutting ties for good. But to the palace, it wasn't personal, it was policy. Without a role, there's no coverage, no exceptions. And that policy isn't changing. Behind the scenes, more doors are quietly closing. Sources close to the palace say there are early conversations, just whispers for now, about reviewing Harry's remaining titles. Nothing formal yet, but the momentum is growing. The snub from the King's Foundation event might not just be a rejection. It may be the beginning of something much bigger, a complete and final separation. Not just emotional, not just symbolic, but constitutional. The Crown is sending a message, not through press releases or dramatic speeches, but through silence, exclusion, and decisions made quietly behind palace doors. No fanfare, no formal declarations. Just a clear shift and no apology. Meanwhile, in California, Meghan Markle's silence is only adding fuel to the speculation. Some believe she's deliberately keeping her distance, pivoting toward a solo path, laser-focused on her own ventures while letting Harry weather the storm alone. Others think she's simply accepted what Harry hasn't, that the royal chapter is closed, the door he keeps trying to reopen already locked for good. Whatever the reason, her absence has become its own headline. In a saga where every look and gesture gets dissected, Meghan's disengagement stands out. And it's not just the press noticing. Palace insiders have reportedly interpreted it as more than a personal decision. They see it as resignation. To them, Meghan has already moved on from a battle Harry still thinks he can win. And as for Hollywood, the safety net Harry once imagined, it's starting to unravel. When he and Meghan first stepped back from royal life, there was a surge of excitement. Buzzing headlines, talk show interviews, multi-million-dollar deals, and the promise of complete freedom. But now, that initial sparkle is fading fast. Major platforms are backing away. Spotify dropped them. Netflix is said to be cooling off. Executives won't say it outright, but insiders admit the truth. Harry's name no longer carries the weight it once did. The mystique of the rebellious royal is wearing thin, replaced by public fatigue and controversy. Producers are hesitant. Brands are cautious. No one wants to be the next to get dragged into the mess of royal drama. In an industry built on image and public favor, Harry is starting to look like a liability. One PR strategist said off the record, he came in as royalty, but he's becoming tabloid. And that shift is brutal. And that's where the danger really lies. Harry's entire public identity was built on his position within the monarchy. Even after stepping away, that royal connection gave him power, access, relevance, influence. But now, every time the palace moves further away, it chips at the foundation of what Harry represents. Yes, he can still do interviews. Yes, he can still write memoirs. But without the royal title front and center, without the institutional backing, the impact isn't the same. The risk isn't just irrelevance. It's becoming a character in a story the public no longer wants to follow. Inside the UK, conversations are shifting toward permanence. Royal analysts are now talking about legacy and precedent. Some even draw comparisons to past royal outcasts, figures who stepped too far from tradition and were gradually erased from royal life. The only difference this time? It's all playing out on a global stage. Every decision, every silence, every symbolic gesture is being watched by millions, and King Charles? He isn't flinching. If anything, the rejection of Harry is bringing him clarity. To the king, the monarchy must come before everything else, even family. The most powerful message wasn't in a speech or a statement. It was in the guest list for the King's Foundation event. These weren't just high-status names. They were chosen to represent values the monarchy wants to amplify: stability, loyalty, unity. David Beckham, Kate Winslet, public figures known for their grace and discipline. Including them while excluding Harry wasn't a social snub. It was a symbolic declaration. This is who we stand with, and this is who we've moved beyond. For Harry, that kind of erasure hits differently. He wasn't just left off the stage. He was written out of the script. No digital message, no Zoom appearance, not even a silent acknowledgement. Just total absence. And that silence spoke volumes. It told the world Harry no longer fits into the story the monarchy is telling. With Meghan focused on her personal brand, the palace door shut, and the American media growing colder, Harry is now entering uncharted territory, one without a crown, and increasingly, without a clear audience. Yes, it's a path he chose. But now, that path is narrowing. There's still time for reinvention, but it won't come from clinging to royal relevance. If Harry wants to build something lasting, it must come from something new, something self-made, something independent of the royal machine. Because if the monarchy's message is clear, it's this: the page is turned. And Harry's name is no longer on it.